Hi, my name is Lisa Parziel, and in this video, we're going to take things a step further by talking about how to find the businesses and prospects to start this initial service with. So finding the folks we want to sell this printing to. So here's what you're going to learn in this training video. How to find new print customers you can turn into trophy clients, meaning how to find those folks that you can start with that $78 postcard and eventually turn into a $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 high-end service client. We're going to talk about how to do some free things. So if you need to start your business with very little money or no cash, we actually have a way that you can start that business. We did it, and that's how we know. And every year we try it again just to make sure it's still working today. We turn the free service sites into money generators for us. Also, how you can use social media sites and services, mainly ads and Facebook, now to actually attract those clients. Networking groups. So again, if you're looking for something free that you can do, that you can just get out there and spend your time, we're going to talk to you about best practices on using networking groups. And finally, we have a method we call new business registration. It's often our most loyal and best generator to date. Why? Because new businesses become very loyal to you, and we're going to talk to you about that. Let's first talk about the free service sites. And what am I talking about free service sites? Well, I'm talking about those sites that aren't going to cost you anything to sign up for them, to use them, that you can get business contacts and generate revenue from. So why do we want to use these types of free service sites? Well, there are many companies out there that are looking for the services that we're going to provide. So companies that need business cards and postcards and logos and whatever else it is that you are going to try to get in the door with. They're not always looking for cheap. And some of these sites, you're looking at cheap, cheap, cheap. But don't worry about that. They're not always looking for cheap. They just don't know where else to turn. And when they did a search, that's what came up. So that's what they're using. Many of our customers we found on these free service sites, they took their business offline with us and allowed them to service their big high dollar account after they got to know us and trusted us. Many agencies actually use these free service sites. What do I mean by that? You could actually be the print provider for somebody else to get in the door with other clients. So other agencies, whether it be real estate brokers that need a service for all of their real estate agents, franchises, etc. And other marketing companies. If you ever want to white label your services or do your services for other marketing companies, we have several that we do work for. They go out and sell it, they don't want to do it, and then we go ahead and provide the services. Sure, we have to charge a little bit less, but at the end of the day, we don't have to go find that business, so my costs for client acquisition are the same either way. So I'm happy to let other people bring me business. So how do we find these new clients? What do we do? Well, just like everything else we've been talking about, we begin a relationship doing the service that the client wants. In this case, business cards or postcards. We start there. We gain their trust. And once we get their trust, we're going to try to convert them or find out what other needs they might have. So we gain the trust and their business, contact them for printing, and then take this relationship offline. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. So what services should I offer on Fiverr? You're probably asking. Well, we started our business on Fiverr with a simple postcard design. And I know you might be thinking, well, why on earth would you do a postcard for somebody for $5? Well, I was thinking past that. I didn't know it at the time, but I was thinking about this exact criteria we use today. I wanted to meet clients because I didn't have any. I just started my business. And I was willing to trade time to get that relationship. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the cost. Now, remember, I actually have design background. I could do the cards myself. I could design the cards. I could create the art. The only thing it cost me was time. And to be able to get paid anywhere from $5 to $50 per postcard. Remember, just because Fiverr says $5 doesn't mean you can't upsell while you're actually out there. And I got smart about how to do that as well. On average, we get paid $40 to $50 to design a postcard. And that is well worth to try to earn a client. Now, not every client that came to us really is somebody we could convert. And so we did have to pick and choose. But postcard design was, one of the big things. Business card design. Again, another offer you can put out there. It's easy to fulfill. You can do it for $5, $10, $15, $25. Remember, you want to get into the business of finding and putting out gigs, that's what they're called on Fiverr, that will attract the kind of business you want. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Banner design is another one. Again, these are all things that really don't, have any product involved. They simply are going to cost time. Now, for you guys that don't have any design background, we're going to talk about that because you're going to have to pay to get the art created for them. So we're going to talk about that. But before I do, other than Fiverr, there's so many other sites: GigBucks, Fiverr Up, Zirk, SEO Clerks, $10, Fiverr Up. I mean, with 2 P's instead of 1. There's so many people. I mean, Fiverr was so popular that all of these sites started cropping up that, kind of did what they did. You can also look on Odesk or Freelancer. Again, there's businesses looking for workers. After they've been burned time after time after time by someone who doesn't do the job right, if you've got an excellent portfolio and you have the ability to show them that you can do a great job, then they are going to hire you. And remember, we are going to help you with that portfolio. We're going to help you build a portfolio that's yours and yours alone. So even though we're going to be doing the art for you and we're going to be doing everything for you, any job that you bring to us, that becomes your portfolio. It doesn't go into somebody else's. If you need a portfolio and you don't have one, we can talk about, some options we have for you to have a custom portfolio in your name. Now, what's important when you're using a site like Fiverr? You want to have templates that you're going to use or have set designs that you can use. And I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm going to go out to Fiverr and I'm going to show you some of the things out there. What do I mean by that? Well, you do not want to offer custom design. It takes way too long, and you want to be able to crank through leads quickly to find the gems, meaning finding those folks that could be trophy clients that you could take and turn into an offline relationship, and so you can do that work for. You want to clearly state your terms. What does that mean? You want to make sure people know exactly what they're getting for the money they're spending. And remember, custom design is extra, and I'll show you how that works. Do not allow substitutions, or if you do, minimal. So in other words, here's the terms. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. If they contact you and say, well, will you do this? No, I won't. For this gig, I do X, Y, and Z. If you want that, that's extra. Many people say, forget about it. I got a guy over here who'll do it for $5. Great, go use that guy. We're about quality. And people on Fiverr, these other sites, they're willing to pay more. I have a guy who hires us. He doesn't want to work outside of Fiverr, and we do postcards for him on a regular basis. He pays us $75 to design each one, which is a great price, and then he prints through us. As long as we keep the relationship on Fiverr, he's happy. We make money. You would make money on deals like that. And remember, we do all the work, so you're making money just for having it set up. Never, ever, ever sell the PSDs or the source files. Now, you're going to be tempted to. There's gigs on Fiverr that, oh, if you give me $50 extra, you can have the template. Remember, a lot of these people are going to buy that just so they can resell it themselves. So be very careful about giving up your source files or your PSDs. If you're pretty sure it's a real client and they really just want those source files, then typically I'll charge them anywhere from $40 to $50 and they can have them. Now, some customers balk at that and they'll ask me, well, why, you have the source file, why shouldn't you sell it to me? Well, because I did a cheap design for you and I'd like to reuse that for other things. So I own the rights to it. If you want to buy the rights to it, you can have it, and then I will no longer be able to use that. Typically, if you got someone, that wants your gig, wants the source files, and doesn't like your terms, they'll just go somewhere else, and that's perfect for you. These are not the type of clients. If they're arguing about $5 or $10, they're not a trophy client. You've just weeded through that. It's a great way to weed through the clients you don't want. So if you kind of follow this procedure, it really, really works. Okay, I've jumped out here to Fiverr, and I'm not going to log into my account because I don't want to really publicly have my account out there because Fiverr's terms of service do say that you cannot and should not actually speak to your clients offline. However, Fiverr doesn't have any ability for me to sell them a website or sell them SEO on a monthly basis. Their website right now doesn't allow me to do that. I can't offer a $1,000 service. So how would I convert those customers other than contacting them? So let's take a look. Graphics and design. Now, first and foremost, you want to sign up. So you want to join and get an account. Don't use your real name. Use some, small something else. Like literally, don't put first, last name, anything like that. You want to use a name that's not very recognizable. And then you want to go ahead and join and become a seller. Once you become a seller, you can create what's called ads. So I'm going to come out here to graphic design and notice they have things like flyers and posters, business cards and stationery, things like that. Let's go ahead and just click on business cards and stationery just to show you. So if you want to use this method, notice we have right here, I will design a business card and do 5 realistic mock-ups for you. So, okay, well, I'll click on that. I'm interested. Now, this particular seller has had a lot of reviews, and they're a top-rated seller. They're one of the best sellers on there. And if we look through the pictures, notice that really nice examples of their work, beautiful artwork, and then they're coming in here and showing you, here's what I do. Now, here's the fun part. Take a look. There's the beautiful artwork they display. Look at here's an example of one of the pieces of work they did. Look at the logo. It's awful. The logo is all pixelated. It looks bad. Right there screams to me somebody who needs logo design. And I could upsell them after doing their business card, or at least designing it. I could upsell them on a couple things. I could ask them if they'd like some printing. I could talk to them about doing a logo. I could probably go check out their website and see if it looks good. The idea is simple. When someone contacts you to actually do a service with you, you're looking at them as a prospect, and you do want to think about, is this somebody that I could actually do business with? So notice that the quality of the product he's giving the customer is nothing like the example he showed. So as you click through here, these are not, some of them are okay, but they're not all really as good as the sample. And then we get more into his portfolio. You could tell this is his portfolio. So he doesn't have a lot of customer examples out here, which means he probably isn't doing exactly what you see. So he tells you right here about this gig. He'll create a minimalistic, and that's the key right there. He used the word minimalistic. What you see, maybe he's created some really fancy stuff. He's going to try to upsell you. Outstanding professional and elegant designs. You'll get print ready, JPEG, etc. He tells you what he's going to do. He'll add a QR code if you'd like. And then he can also provide up to 5 high quality photorealistic mock-ups. And then they say, right down here, look at the note. 5 mock-ups mean not 5 designs. Just mock up your design card with 5 different backgrounds. So he's actually going to design the card one time, one card. That's it. You don't get, any modifications. You don't get anything else. You get one design only. Also notice 1 gig is for a single contact only. If you want to add more contacts, please use extra. What they mean by that is he's going to design a business card for one person. If you want the same business card with different names, you're going to get charged extra for it. So what does an extra, mean? Well, down here it says basic gig is $5. If you want the fully editable PSD files with fonts, it's $10. I don't suggest you do that, and we talked about why. He can design letterhead and envelope to match, $20. The letterhead and envelope are the easy part, so there's free money, $20 just to add that, to his deal. Give you the same design for 4 different contacts. So he's going to give you 4 other names, $10. Give you the same design for just 1 contact, $5. And then he added a tip if you'd like to tip him at the end. So at the end of the day, he's not doing, he's doing something very basic for $5. What he's missing here, in my opinion, is the ability to do custom design. We do that a lot. Unless you can do your own custom design, for right now, don't do that. Because what we're going to suggest is you get a business card that's an exact template. And you're going to take that template, and then that template is what you're going to sell. They get to change the name, the logo, and the colors, and that's it. Why? Because you can do that easily, and you can do that for $5. Again, you're trying to make business contacts. You're not trying to make money with Fiverr. That's not the goal. The goal is to make the business contacts. Why do we like business cards? It has the person's name, address, and phone number. You can now take that relationship offline without actually asking. Just be careful. The only negative is if the customer that contacts you is doing it for somebody else. There's a lot of companies, marketing companies and artists and people using Fiverr to create their designs and then reselling it to their customers. So if you happen to call the customer and it wasn't them who ordered the design, you could get them in trouble, and that person will then report you to Fiverr for actually, going outside the terms of service. Now, the big deal is once you get this, gig created, you want to, if you're an SEO, person, then you want to go ahead and SEO that gig so it shows up on Fiverr. And when I clicked graphic design and came down here and did business cards and stationery, notice there were certain ones that come up right away. Well, top rated sellers come up right away because they have high ratings. You want to have very good ratings. Then you have featured come up. Those are ones that Fiverr actually picks that they like. Then here comes everybody else. So good SEO is important, but trust me, Fiverr's not stupid. They want people on their site. They'll randomly show people who aren't very well SEO'd from time to time. Until you've done a lot of them on Fiverr, you just don't come up a lot and you won't get a lot of business. There are thousands of people doing business cards, thousands. So if you could find something more unique or something that, you can do for a customer out here that, has very little to do with, any of the print, go for it. But the idea is simple. You're using the service sites to go ahead and find new business. Okay, now that you know where you can go, there's quite a lot more we can talk about that, and I have a lot of opinions about outsourcing. So let's talk about that next. When it comes to outsourcing, you're more than welcome to outsource the work and not send it to us. Now, if you send it to us and we work with you to create a template that you can put out on the service sites, we'll also work with you on getting those fulfilled for your clients. If you want to outsource it, you can. Once you have the listing generating orders, you can outsource the work to someone on Upwork, which used to be Odesk, or another service. Don't outsource it on the same site it's listed on. You will get caught. Customers will see that. I've never seen that work out. I see a lot of people get caught doing that. Maybe have somebody that knows Photoshop. Here's the template. I'm going to send you the name, address, and logo, and I want you to change it out for me, and I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars. If you're selling it for $5, Fiverr's going to take $1, so you got $4 profit. If you pay someone that $4 and you make nothing, perfect. Why? Because remember, you're paying to prospect. You don't need to make any money. It would be nice just to break even. So you can outsource the work, but do contact us. We'll work with you to create your template. We'll work with you to create something that's saleable on Fiverr, and then we'll work with you to fulfill those orders. Don't worry if you're not making money. Like I said, you're here to prospect. You're not paying to gain new customers. That's the key. You're not having to put out money to gain new customers. Instead, you have money coming in. Okay, the money is in the follow-up. So once you've identified somebody as being a good client that you could take offline, one of the first ways we take them offline is we'll simply tell them, hey, Fiverr, I don't make any money. You realize that's a lost leader, and we're just trying to meet new businesses. We're just completely honest with them. And while we'll continue to do your designs for $5, we'd like to keep, the 20% Fiverr actually keeps. But we can also do custom design, and we have other things we can do. You will be shocked at how many people are willing to pay $50, $75, even $100 for design if you'll do custom. It wasn't about the $5 on Fiverr. It's they didn't know where else to go. Once you get them offline, then you can start talking to them about your other services, or you can start sending them some marketing materials about your other services. So the money is in the follow-up. Always contact the potential new customer away from that particular site. So you explain that you pay percentages and you cannot go through the site, in this case Fiverr, to do the printing. In other words, Mr. Customer, Fiverr takes 20% and I simply don't have that, to be able to do. However, I do have 10% markup in it, and I am happy to give you the printing at 10% off our retail, meaning you've now got them as a customer. You're going to be able to fulfill the print for them. Because you're getting paid in the first 90 days 25%, you're actually going to make 15% on that. If you're doing the 15%, you're going to make 5% on that. It's not a lot, but again, you're making money to actually do some work for them. And again, you're going to do the work and do the work. I've had customers that we've used this method for. It took a year before they came back to us for a big service, either for website design or SEO. They printed several postcards, and then and only then did they come back and say, hey, by the way, we're now getting to a point where we're busy enough and we're making enough money. We want to build a website. Do you do that? Of course we do. So that's the way you want to do it. You want to take that relationship offline. You have to follow up. If you're just doing gigs on Fiverr and you're not doing the follow-up, you're wasting your time. You need to build the relationship, and that's how you do that method. So let's talk about the social media sites. Social media is new, and when we started our business, we weren't really using social media to try to garner business. We have tested some things, but they're not how we use the method we just showed you, and we also use a method we're going to show you after this. So social media is not something we use on a regular basis, but we've had other customers of ours use it, other clients who have taken courses like this use it, and we've tested a little bit just to see if we could talk about it, and it does work. So what I like about social media is it can be free and it can be effective. And free and effective is a good thing, but you can also spend a little money too. So the first thing you want to understand is you have to use a social media site that allows you to put ads in front of people. And you want to create an attractive offer, meaning something that somebody's going to click on that they're actually going to be interested in. It's not about the clicks because you're going to pay for those clicks. So you don't really want to have something that people click on that they're not going to actually buy. What you're typically looking to do is put it in a niche that is preferable to the type of client you're trying to get. So if you're trying to get dentists, you're trying to create attractive offers for dentists. Only sell print. Don't mention your other services, and here's why. Again, you're trying to attain their trust, and you're going to do that by offering them a small service, which is your print. Anytime people hear SEO or some of the businesses we're in that you might be watching this course for, anytime people hear that, they become suspect. It's kind of like if somebody says, hey, I'm in multi-level marketing. You don't want to talk to that. You start running from that person. SEO and reputation management and even website design, for that matter, has become like that. People are being inundated day after day after day in their email, on their phone. People walk into their business telling them, I can help you, I can help you. Don't be that person. So what you're doing is you're putting a nice print offer in front of them. You're not going to mention anything else at this time that you do. So we're going to use social sites that allow us to place ads. Now, if you use this method, it's not free. You're going to have to pay for the traffic that those ads generate. Facebook is typically what we use and what we've tested. It works very well, but we've also tested some LinkedIn ads, and they have worked as well. And LinkedIn, we've typically, been able to get to more of a decision maker, which is kind of nice. So paid ads versus free ads. Obviously, paid ads cost money per click. If you have a little money to spend, you want to test it. Maybe you're going to put $100 down and say, I'm going to see if I get any leads from this $100. If you don't, maybe you do it one more time. If it doesn't work, either the ad's not good or it might not be good for what you're trying to sell. You can target strangers as opposed to a free ad. You can't. And you can use details to narrow the demographics. So what I like about the paid ads is I can go out to anybody and say, I'm looking for someone who's between the ages of X and Y. I'm looking for someone who owns a business. I'm looking for someone in this city. I'm looking for someone with, this type of demographic. Facebook offers quite a lot of that as opposed to some of the other sources. And you can hone in on who you want your ad to show up in. And it'll show up in their feed. Again, you want it to be a very attractive offer. So that way they're actually going to click and look at it and see, what they can get. So typically, what kind of ad do? We have tested doing, very cheap kind of, I hate to say it, but think Vistaprint, $10, and you can have X. Now remember, I'm giving up all of my percentage, and often I'm willing to pay money to actually do it. So $10 for 100 business cards, $10 for, business card design. Whatever it is you're trying to put out there as the offer, you want to make sure it's very clear and hopefully will elicit that response. Now, free posts, remember, only show to your family and friends. So, that's why you would do the paid advertising. Let's talk about networking groups. Now, many of you guys have probably done networking and you've had probably mixed experiences. Networking groups can work. You just have to do it the right way and you have to select the right groups. First and foremost, I look for groups that I can seek exclusive membership. What does that mean? I'm the only person in that group that does X. I want to preferably join as my main business. So if I sell website design, that's probably what I want to, join as. But if print is how you're trying to get in the door and they only let you pick one thing, then select print. Many of these exclusive membership groups won't have a position available to you for print, or they might not have website, or they might not have this or the other. You might have to join with some other service you do. Again, you can't compete typically in these groups again. So if there's already a printer in there, you're going to have to change your strategy on, what your offer is going to be. Maybe you're going to have to sell them something else in the beginning, to use this methodology. Print is what we know and it's what we try to do. So if we can't go in as the printer or the web designer, and those are the only two things we'll go in as, never do we go in as SEO because people just don't get it and they don't understand it. You have to be able to form that relationship. Talk about print if possible. If you do join as a website designer, make sure you're not stepping on anyone's toes, but talk about print. More importantly, bring stellar printing with you. You're going to give them printed pieces that are stunning and desirable. I'm giving out the 32-point thick cards that have a color in the middle of them. And they're a hot new product out right now. People touch them and immediately go, where'd you get this? I love this card. We've just opened the conversation and you say, well, I own a print company, or I am a printer, or I can get you printer. Whatever you're comfortable saying, you're in the door, so to speak. They're talking to you about something you've handed them. So you don't want to buy the cheapest cards. We've got a section on our website just for you guys where we show you some of the best cards to get, some of the best cards that actually have converted for us that we give out. Remember, they're going to ask where you got them. Once they do that, you are in the door. You start that relationship. You work with them to get them some nice new cards. And then from there, you can sell your other services. Now, here's some of the networking groups that we belong to. First and foremost, I belong to BNI, which is Business Networking International. One of my favorite groups because they're very exclusive and they measure and track referrals, meaning if I don't give a lot of referrals to other members of the group, if I don't suggestively sell their services, they won't let me stay in that group because they have people who will do that. So it's a constant flux. People are always handing me business. They know what I do and they're referring people. So I love BNI. Another good place is the Chamber of Commerce, but it's highly competitive, highly competitive. So when you walk in there, there's probably going to be another web designer, another SEO person, probably a printer, might be more than one of each of those, but highly competitive. Meetup groups. Just find some meetup groups, go to the events, and same with Chamber of Commerce. So Chamber of Commerce, meetup groups, things like that, social after work, etc. Pass out the products at the events. In other words, those really kick butt business cards that you're going to get, you're going to start passing those out to everybody. When they see your product, many people are going to ask you, where did you get these? I love this card. And have different kinds of cards. And when they ask you that, or if they ask you about your card, you can, pull out of your pocket several and say, oh, we do this. That's why we network. We're trying to, find folks who need something cool like this. And those that are interested are going to talk to you, want to get something from you. Bam, you're in the door. So remember, as you network with these folks, it's not trying to sell them something right away. What to have handy when you go to these networking events? Cool business cards. I typically walk in there with 3 to 4 different styles of my own business card. And when I pull it out to hand someone a business card, I literally fan through them and say, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, I have like 4 different styles. Which one do you like? Pick whatever one you want. They literally will take them out of my hand, look through them and go, oh, I love this card. We'll take that one. And you give them that card. Again, you've started the conversation. You've opened the door. You're going to get in with print with many people if you do this over and over and over. Once you get in with print, as we've been teaching you, then you turn around and start becoming that trusted advisor, and you can sell them your other services. So cool business cards, really, if you can have 3 to 4 samples, that is the best. I also show up quite often with 1 to 2 postcards that I just happen to have in my purse or in my bag. I always have them with me just in case someone says, oh, these are cool. Do you do postcards too? Oh yeah, I do. Let me see if I've got some. And I just happen to have some right there that I can show them. And the last thing to have on hand is your appointment calendar. And why do I say that? Well, when you actually are standing in front of someone and they're interested, the next thing you should do is say, look, we're trying to network and, have some drinks, have a good time, whatever you're doing. Is there a time where you want me to come by and I can show you more samples? I mean, we have 100 samples. Do you want me to come by and I can show you all this stuff? And, maybe you can find something that's, in your price range that you'll like. Whatever it is, you want to try to set up an appointment right then and there. I've gone to networking groups on a Monday and filled up my calendar for the entire week to meet with folks. Sure, not everyone I meet with, actually the meeting sticks, and when I go to the meeting, not everyone buys. What I'm doing is I'm prospecting. And the few that do buy my printing, well, now I've gotten paid to prospect, and then I'm going to try to turn them into trophy clients. So as you see, it's a process, but it's such an unobtrusive process, meaning people just talk about, everyone needs a business card, everyone. So therefore, people are talking about it. People are handing them out. People are, handing them around. Remember, get the follow-up. Most important, get the follow-up. You don't want to tell them everything you know right there at that meeting because then they have no reason to follow up with you. You don't want to talk to them right then and there. It might be, you know what, I try not to, conduct business when I'm at these events. Do you want to just set up a time? I mean, we can either do a phone call or I can come by your office. Get the follow-up. Your goal is not to sell anything on the spot because if you try to sell them on the spot, you've now not got follow-up. You want to set up a follow-up meeting with these folks and offer to stop by their business. You want to get their contact information because you're going to follow up with them. And that is the most important if you're going to do networking. Too many people go to these networking meetings, grab a stack of business cards, get back from the meeting, stick them on the corner of their desk. A month later, you say, it's too late. They won't remember who I am. You need to follow up right away. The next thing we're going to talk about is direct mail, and typically how to use direct mail for new businesses. And we actually call this the new business welcome letter method. This works fantastic. It's how, one of the big things of how we were able to grow our business so quickly. It actually brought us in some really big clients, and they're very easy to find. So let's talk about it. So the new business lead source. Well, it's easy to find a new business. New businesses have to register, and they have to either, if they're going to be an LLC, doing a DBA, etc. There is public information out there that can tell you who opened a new business. Some newspapers will actually publish this, while some online entities in some states will give you that information in a downloadable format, like in Texas, which is fantastic. So you can easily find new businesses. These new businesses, just like all new business, needs business cards and other printing. Remember, you're trying to get in the door now, so as they need their other things like their website, their SEO, their rep management, their mobile marketing, whatever it is you do, you try to get in now because you'll become the trusted partner. They need these other things in the future. So contrary to popular belief, new businesses are not cash poor. There are many businesses out there that get large loans. We just landed a client, and that client is a multi-million-dollar company that just got funded. And they opened a new LLC, and it was very easy to send them something. And they called us, and they're now our client. And we've done websites, we've done printing to the tune of, in less than 2 months after acquisition, doing $20,000 plus in business. So don't think for a minute that new businesses are cash poor, because many times they're not. They do not have marketing partners sometimes. So they're brand new. They don't know who to turn to. And suggestive selling works, meaning you're going to put yourself in front of them. Well, now they don't have to go find someone because you're going to give them a very nice welcome to the neighborhood or welcome to your new business, and we're giving this great offer. And remember, because they do not have marketing partners yet and you'll become their trusted source, they'll quickly trust the first person to help them. And these are some of the most loyal customers we have. They never really were looking for someone because they never had to. So they don't even know what's out there. They just know we exist. So what do you want to look for in a new business? So before we go spending money on postage to mail something to these new businesses, we want to make sure we're targeting the correct business. So just like all the business advice we've given thus far, you want to have products with high ticket prices. So if a new dry cleaner just opened a business, dry cleaners have very low ticket items, $1 here, $10 there, $5 here, $20 there, just not the type of customer we're looking for. So we don't want to send them anything. We want to think about the business. Will they have an initial budget for marketing? Will they have money? They can support continued marketing, meaning they would need your services month over month over month if you have a monthly service that you sell. And they appreciate a quality brand or image. So if you contact them or they contact you after you send out these letters and tell you they're looking for something cheap, they can't afford this, they don't want to spend that, these are not the type of clients that you want to work with on a regular basis. You want to weed through them and find the trophy clients out of the bunch. So how do we craft that letter? Obviously, once we figure out who we want to send that letter to, so you now, look through the list, you figured out where you can find those folks. What should the letter say? Well, congratulate them on their new business. For first-time business owners, it's a big deal. They've never done it before. It's really cool. So they will keep any piece of mail they get in their new business name in the beginning. Congratulate them on their new business. Position marketing is a must-have. In other words, you're going to say something to the tune of, every business needs to have a good brand, and we're here to help you get that brand. So you're going to suggestive sell your business cards, your postcards, etc. And we do have some templates. We don't have them online for legal reasons, but if you contact us, we can get you some templates that you can start with. Now, we can't take any legal responsibility. It obviously is up to you what you send, but we'll show you what we sent and you can go from there. Make a compelling time-sensitive offer. So in the beginning, what we offered folks was 15% off all of their new printing the first time they order from us as a, way to help them, that we know their expenses are big right now and we're here to help. And we put together packages that they could buy. So, here's 500 business cards plus, letterhead, or here's your business cards, your letterhead, and your envelopes. And we put that in the letter to say, this is only offered to brand new businesses, 15% off right now. And they could take that 15%. You're still making a profit in the first 90 days, unless you extend. But even after that, even if you're breaking even, at the end of the day, you're paying to prospect. Present case studies or samples. We actually had some pictures of some of the stuff we did right there on the letter, and that way they could see and they could start whetting their appetite. Now, where do we get these free lists? And the reason I have Florida and Texas listed is I do spend part of my time in Florida and part of my time in Texas. And as such, it's two places I conduct business. So I've already found those where I can get them there. But if you're in another state, go ahead. There's a link that you can, and I have these links up on the website as well, but there's a link where you can go get some of these, resources. So what you're really trying to find out is you're trying to get a list of new businesses that have registered. So they're typically going to be LLC. Now, you want to stay away from the nonprofits. You want to stay away from foreign trusts. You want to make sure it's not a trust company, things like that. Now, we've been asked before, should I buy a list? That's totally up to you. So what about buying lists? Well, you can certainly buy a list, and if you have the money to invest, they are a really good idea. They're readily available for purchase, and you can even find new business lists. What does that mean? Business that has just opened, they get the list for you, and in a lot of cases, they'll even just send you the labels, meaning all you'd have to do is peel them and stick them. You also can get established business lists. Now, you wouldn't send them the same type of letter, but letters actually work over other marketing pieces. So it's a great resource for established businesses. If you happen to be a more mature marketing company, you want the larger, more established businesses, they have those types of business lists as well. And they also have very niche lists. So if you just want dentists, you just want doctors, you just want lawyers. So what do you use? You're going to send these letters out. You're convinced this is going to be something you're going to do. So you're going to write the letter. You do it in Word, get it all written, you're all good to go. You want to use labels, and you want to put labels on the envelope. We use Avery 5160 labels, and you can get them online pretty inexpensively at Amazon.com. The 5160 work well because you can get 30 per sheet. They typically go through a printer very well. And you're going to take the list and do a mail merge with Word, and then you can create those labels. Now, if you don't know how to do that, then look it up on Google. It's very easy. Or you can actually buy the list with the labels. Do not use custom envelopes. Use plain white. We made this mistake. So we had sent out these letters for 4 months in a row. We got returns, we got returns, we got returns. We're, signing up customers. And then we got all fancy and printed some custom, nice envelopes that came from our company, and we didn't get any returns 2 months in a row. So then we went back to the white envelopes. Guess what? Started getting returns. We just looked too much like very calculated, junk mail. White envelopes are what we recommend. No fancy paper. And this is a case where you don't want to have fancy printing made up. Again, we did the same thing. We used to just use white copy paper that we used on our printer. And then as we made more money, I went and printed up these beautiful, nice sheets of paper. And guess what? Our rate of return wasn't the same. We went back to the non-fancy paper. So you want to keep it simple. You want to, make it look like it's coming from a small, very hands-on marketing company. I even sign all of these letters personally. We don't have that printed. I sit there with why we made this last is because this is a commitment. It's very costly to send these out in terms of having to put the stamps on them, mail them out. Now the direct mail letters were a little bit more costly, but you're not going to do it on the massive scale, right? So the direct mail letters actually get a better rate of return, meaning more people will call you as you send them out. Direct mail postcards. Folks are inundated with postcards. They still work, but you're going to get a lower rate of return. So you're going to contact with direct mail postcards. You're going to contact your customer, and you're going to create an attractive offer in whatever niche hopefully you're looking to go into. And what I mean by an attractive offer is, remember, we're going to sell them print. So maybe you're going to sell them recall postcards, appointment cards, that kind of thing to dentists, and you're going to sell them at your cost, meaning you're not even going to try to get any profit. You're going to try to break even on this particular sale. So you're going to create an offer. Now remember, when you make offers, don't forget the fine print. In other words, shipping not included, no cash value, good till XYZ. Whatever you want on there, you're going to think about that offer. Only sell print. And again, do not mention your other services. Remember, we're trying to get in the door. We don't want to scare people with what we do. We have several templates. So when it comes to the direct mail postcards, we have several templates you can use. See the download section. Now, once you get the postcard design, the one you want, mail it to your targeted clients and mail as many as you can afford. So for instance, pick a budget. Maybe you say $400. I'm going to, whatever it costs to get the postcards created, then I'm going to go ahead and buy the remainder of that $400 stamps, postcard stamps, and I'm going to send these out to targeted business. Do not get, excited about EDDM, every door direct mail. You don't want to send to every single business, not right now. Remember, you're looking for the trophy clients. So you want to, really target certain businesses. I actually drive around my town and I'll see a business I'm interested in landing. I'll go get one of my postcards. I always have them, here in the office, and I'll actually write the address down, put a stamp on it, and get it out. And if they don't answer, that's okay. I'm going to do it 3 to 4 times during the year. And you'll be surprised how many people. Now, it might take the 3rd or 4th time of them seeing these postcards before they call you. They need to need something before they're going to call you. Established businesses are harder because they already have vendors. They've already used things. They probably already have business cards, and they already have stuff. So they're a little bit harder to go after. That is why the previous method, that direct mail letter, the new business letter, hands down our #1 business builder. That's how we attained a lot of our trophy clients, and that is what we stick with. And the Fiverr method. Those two methods were hands down our best methods. This method works too, though. And we do this still to this day when we're actually going after a certain niche, and it does return, and you get some business. People are going to call you or they're going to email you. Remember, you got to mail 4 times over a 12-month period. You can't just mail once. If nobody calls you, think, oh, it didn't work. You have to do it 4 times. So every 3 months, you're going to mail the same list, another postcard. Again, you're going to put, different offers, attractive offers on there. Don't be afraid to follow up with a phone call. What do I mean by that? Well, after you sent them the postcard, maybe a week or 2 later, calling them up and saying, hi, this is Lisa with Portside Marketing. I just wanted to make sure that you got our offer. I know that, you're da-da-da-da-da, whoever they are, and you probably already have a print provider, but we really think you'd be interested to talk to us because we have prices that typically beat your local printer or your online printer, and we do everything for you. It's really a win-win. Who do I need to talk to about this? And don't be afraid to do that. I know that's a hard thing for you possibly to get on the phone and actually make that call. All I can do is say no, call up the next person. Somebody's going to say yes, you're in the door. It's going to feel so much better than any rejection you get, and it'll be well worth it. Okay, direct mail works. It does. So I don't want you to think it doesn't work. I prefer the new business letters. So let me just show you a little slide. We started and built our agency using direct mail only, selling printing, and we did that to new businesses. So we sent letters out to new businesses. Shockingly, when I would get the calls back and they would become customers, I would ask them, well, how many of these letters did you get? Why did you pick us? Every single client that we got through our direct new business mailing letter hadn't gotten any other letters from any other marketing companies. Believe it or not, they said, yeah, the only thing I got was CPA. That's it. So it's a really good method. Not a lot of people are doing it, and you could really stand out. So we started at zero. We had very little money to invest. I really had $400 I was going to invest in this and try this out. So we took $400. We whittled down the list of new businesses to the ones we felt like, just by looking at their name or trying to guess what they did, would be good clients for us. We sent them a direct mail letter. We targeted the new or small businesses, and we created the trust and authority. So those folks that would call us, those folks that would, answer our call or answer that letter we sent, we then delivered for them, created trust, created authority. We actually have clients today, all these years later, that came from this method that are still doing business with us today. Some of which are paying upwards of $2,000 a month for other services now that they've grown their company. We've been there along the way to help them grow. They constantly come back to us to ask us how we can help them even more. So we upsold them the higher services only after we sold them the smaller services. And the first mailing we ever sent, so out of that $400, and I don't put this in the slide because I don't want folks to say, well, you said, but at the end of the day, I'll tell you the truth, that first mailing, we received some clients, and one of those clients turned out to be a $17,000 client. And so that first mailing, we say, netted us $17,000 for that first year. It didn't make us not want to do it, and not every mailing did we earn that much, but we continued to meet new clients, get new clients, and convert them into the trophy clients. The method works, and direct mail does work. Okay, next steps. When you're thinking about what you do next, I want you to, really not try to do too much. There's a lot of methods in this particular course. Pick 1, maybe 2 to actually do, and stick with that until it does well, you get a good rate of return before you try something else. Create your materials. If you're going to be sending letters, get the letters created. If you're going to be sending postcards, have the postcards made up. Do whatever you need to do to get ready to send. And then in Module 1, we talked to you about all the different types of clients you could go after. Hopefully you've made a list and you can go now attain somebody. If you're going to use the new business letter, you're going to go get a list, or you're going to go get some of the free information you can get online or from your newspaper. The idea is you're going to actually find that list, and if it means driving around your town and just writing name and address down, do that. Once you have your list, you're going to send to that list. Now, typically, it'll take 3 to 4 days. if you're doing anything in the mail, you want to be ready to actually accept the calls 4, 5, 10 days later. We've had people contact us as much as 6 months later after they received the initial mailing and said, oh, is this offer still good? I've had this sitting on my desk for 6 months. We just opened our business and we just got busy. Is this offer still good? I don't care if the coupon said it expired. I always honor any coupon somebody brings to me. Why? Because I want to build trust with that customer and gain that business. So those are the methods we have used in the past. We think they're stellar methods. They help us get in the door with print. Don't limit to these methods. There might be many other methods you can come up with on how you can get in the door and sell printing. The idea is simple. You sell them some printing and then you upsell to your other services once you gain their trust. We'll see you in the next video.